Hey friends, Irene Lyon here. Welcome to this video, to this YouTube channel, and to this world of healing trauma, nervous system health, and all things neuroplasticity. I wanted to bring a few topics in today into this video to remind you of a few things. One, the resources I have on my website that are free, that you can download. There are some audio lessons there, some ebooks that you can read, some exercises that you can actually work with. Below, I'm linking those if you're on my email list. You may have already gotten an email with these listed resources. So resources I have to help calm and settle and bring ourselves back to our body. Now, the reason I'm highlighting that is right now, I'm going to date this video. It is the end of March when I'm recording this. So depending on when you see this, it might be April, it might be next year, it might be 5 months from now. I'm not sure. But right now we are in the midst of a pretty big crisis with a virus that is called, it's a virus that's been around for a while. It's a very potent strain of coronavirus. We're calling it COVID-19. And it's throwing our entire system, not just our healthcare systems, but our economy, how we go about our days, everything is changing. We're all impacted by this. And I really want to make sure, number one, is that you are if this is current and you're watching this now, that you are looking to reputable sources, hopefully your government, the WHO, the Center for Disease Control, so reputable sources for the information in how you learn about what to do, what not to do, symptoms, etc. So I just wanted to make that known, that I am following that and it's a real thing. The thing to be also aware of is when there is added threat, real threat in our environment, it will spark up and it will poke at all of our unresolved stressors, triggers, past traumatic events, and survival energies, namely those fight and flight energies and the freeze energies that have been still living within our systems, that are living within our systems. So depending on where you are on the journey of working with your nervous system and learning how it works and how it responds to either real or perceived threat, you will be on a path that you know. So I want to make sure that you know that there are ways that you can start learning about being with your nervous system and with your body on my site that are 100% free. Check them out, do them, practice. Now, the reason why being with our body is super important right now, and I'll outline some of these things, is that if we are currently safe and okay, and we are not sick, we don't want to put ourselves into more stress. If we are even sick, let's say you are healing, you are working through this virus, and I hope you are okay. Even in this case, we want to have our body be calm. We want to stay connected to the here and now, because driving ourselves into more survival stress, more anxiety, more panic, even mental thinking that is looking at worst case scenarios, that is going to harm our nervous system, and it's going to harm our immune system, our digestive system, our cardiovascular system, our respiratory system, all systems, our ability to connect to the environment and know where we are, etc. So it is very important in this time, and to be honest, all time, that we are conscious of how our thinking, this higher brain of ours, might hijack us and spin us into scenarios that haven't happened yet. This has been occurring since the beginning of humankind in this brain of ours. So it goes without saying that many of us have experienced this before this current time. Now it is more important than ever to watch those thoughts, to watch how we might spin into more chaos, or, which is another thing that is very common, is into more of a shutdown response, into a dissociation, into a disconnection from our body. And the reason why we don't want to go that route is when we are shutting down in our system, we are no longer listening to our body and what it needs. We may not pick up that our system is healing or is struggling, etc. So When we have got a mind that is seeing so much going on, it can get trapped and locked into this spin cycle of survival. The things that we want to do, and I'll outline some of them right now, are to stay connected to the body, its sensations, the emotions, the desires of maybe getting frustration out, getting anger out, moving our body to get this energy out. So some of the main things to be aware of is the mind. So it means that you have to catch yourself. If you find yourself going into this awfulizing kind of scenario, again, you're going to have to use this higher brain that is also spinning to kind of co-opt that spin and say to yourself, just stop. Stop. Breathe. Sense the ground under you. Feel where you are. See where you are. Look around. Disconnect from that loop. This takes practice and it takes time. If we're trained in this already, and this is very common in various mindfulness practices, and of course the work that I do with my students, if we're trained in this, it'll be a little easier. If this is new to us and we are experiencing a level of survival that we have never seen before, it's going to take a little more practice. You're going to need to be very diligent. It might even mean that you have to put reminders around your home on notes that say pause, stop, wait, feel, connect, see. So how you do that, you will have to be creative. So we want to be able to stop that cycle, namely because we can put ourselves into more survival stress through our mind. This is what we would call psychosomatic, where our psyche is actually creating a somatic quality, like an increased heart rate, like a symptom, like a pain, like a headache, like a bellyache. So number one thing is to watch how your mind might trap into this spin cycle. And as soon as you catch it, kind of like talking to someone really calmly, how you would if someone else was spinning out, talk to yourself in a very calm way. Same way you would with a child, same way you would with an infant, same way you would with an animal that's scared. You want to be very calm, very clear, very connected, very simple, and just say to yourself, pause, stop, and then some of these keywords: connect to the ground, feel your feet, maybe look around, and do those kind of in a sequence. So that's one thing that you can work on to help that mind that might be spinning. The next thing is to use the mind and use your actions as a way to stay connected to the here and now, not as a way of distracting, but as a way of being productive, as a way of finding something in your environment that you enjoy, that you like, that you can connect to. Hopefully they are still there. Hopefully the world you live in still has those things, whether it is books or art or even maybe something like Netflix or a cup of tea or a favorite, I'm not sure. You'll have to find the things that you like and love, that bring you comfort, that bring you joy, that give you connection, and that help settle your system down. In the work that I do, we would call this an external resource. So something that you can hang on to. It could be physically, it might be music, it might be a funny show, something where you're engaging with something external, and while doing it, you are still being aware of your body. So this is where there's a difference between disconnecting and being drawn into something so that we avoid what is being felt and what we are noticing, versus consciously going to somewhere like, let's say, well, I'm just thinking of crayons right now for some reason. I'm not sure why. Maybe it's the colorful shirt I'm wearing. Maybe going to those paints or those crayons or pencil crayons that your kids have and starting to draw, starting to write. It could be something like reading. It could be watching a show, but actively going into those resources. We could call them hobbies, but with mindful attention, conscious attention to the body. So just because we're going into something external does not mean that we disconnect from this system. Can you still feel your breath? Can you still feel the ground under you? Can you every now and again pause and look around, see where you are, see the different colors, etc., etc. So the reason I'm giving you this example is if we're new to this work, it might be hard for us to stop our thoughts, to lasso them in and calm them down and come back to the body. So one way to enter into the system is to actually do something more active and stay connected to the physical system. The reason why this is a good thing to do is when we can do that, we're being with our body when we're in a state of more ease. We're being with our body in a state of more calm, more what we would call maybe social engagement, something that's more pleasurable. And when we do that, we're in some ways building up foundation to know how to be with our body better. That means that when we are not doing those things, when maybe we are feeling a little bit stressed, a little more triggered, we have got a little more skill to notice our physical system, to notice our breath, to notice where we are in the room. So I wanted to give you those two ideas on how to come back to the body when our mind might be tripping into awfulness, and to bring it back. So one is to reconnect with the body, go to the internal, go to how the body is connecting with the environment. The other is to use these things that we would call external resources, things that you know you like, you love, you like connecting with, but being very conscious and very attentive at being in your body while with those external resources. If you can build up that foundation, it's going to make being with the body when things are stressful a little easier. The next thing is practice. So again, if you're new at this and you haven't really trained your mind to calm down and come back to the body, this might be a little difficult at the beginning, and that's normal. It's like learning a second language as an adult. I did a vlog on that a little while ago. I will post it below. Retraining, rewiring this survival brain of ours takes time. So if it doesn't happen right away for the first day or 2 days or even week, or even sometimes months, keep practicing, keep working at it. We have to be diligent with these practices and keep showing up. At the end of the day, the system doesn't want to awfulize the future. The system wants to be calm and regulated in the present moment. So not only is that good for our mental health, but it's good for our physical health. Like I said at the beginning, when we go into more survival stress, it dampens our immune system. It makes our systems a little more chaotic. And right now we need health that is really, really strong and good. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to this video, watching. As I said, I've got some resources below, some actual guided lessons, audio exercises that you can get from my site. If you have not yet gone there and checked these out and grabbed them, please do so. Sometimes it helps to have a guided voice to bring you through these practices, and that's what I have there. Thank you so much for being here, and we will see you next time.